All right. So, if I don't go live now, I guess I never will, right? But now is the only decent time, or now is the only way I'm going to be in a decent mood, right? To even be able to sound coherent after dealing with this kind of police harassment all day, right? Police and undercover informant harassment, whatever you want to call it, all right? But I just want to try to make some sense out of everything that this police program, informant program, has been putting me through lately, which is really something else. And yeah, I've noticed with this corrupted YouTube algorithm here, now I get nonstop advertisements about I got this for my dad, or I got this for father. Like, I'm getting advertisements talking about Father's Day. It's so stupid how far they go with this program, right? And I don't know if they're trying to like guilt trip me into talking to my father again or something. I have no idea, but I just think it's odd. You know, I cut my family off, and now I get these relentless advertisements about people buying gifts for their father, and just all these advertisements talk about their dad, their father, blah blah blah, and it just seems so ironic now, right? And so something else, I was just pissed off this morning about my phone coming up missing when I know exactly where I left it, and any other circumstances I would have it back by now. Any other circumstances I wouldn't have lost my phone in the first place. I wouldn't have left it somewhere that I would forget about because of so many other circumstances going on in my surroundings, right? So much extra activity being created around me constantly that creates a constant distraction, in my head, forcing me to accidentally, forget it. I stuck my phone to the wall or lock my keys in my car because I've never done these things in the past. Not until they have to put an entire army of police informants chasing me all over town, right? From everywhere I go, from point A to point B, they're just up my ass the entire time, right? That's what it takes to, make me start losing my mind, make me start forgetting shit like that. Locking my keys in my car, forgetting my phone. And it just agitates me because now I realize there's so many files in that phone that I can't get back, or that they're backed up on the computer at my dad's house. That I'm not talking. I'm not going back there. I'm not talking to them for any reason ever again. It's over. It's done. I'm sick of giving people chances just to get stepped all over. And that's exactly what this program keeps playing on, is being a nice person, having empathy, being a good person, and then they just walk all over you. Every time you give them a chance. That's why I didn't care about showing where I was, or being real nice there, like not playing along in their little reindeer games over there. This guy trying to, constantly coerce me into doing his bullshit or whatever, or trying to sell me whatever, because I won't play along. Now all of a sudden I can't park there anymore, which I knew was coming, right? That's why I'm showing where I was. I don't care if I know you're gonna try to set me up in the first place. You're gonna build me up to set me up. Well, I'm gonna just leave on my own terms then. It's not going to play out how you think. Because it was just obvious. I mean, from the start, the guy who's trying to scam me, constantly showing up, like as soon as I get out of my car in the morning to brush my teeth, here's this guy on his bicycle, like that, like clockwork, every day, until I really started being an asshole to him. And then the one day, I'm like, whoa, boy, it's almost like you get an alert. It's almost like you get an alert on your phone to come here. He says, oh, he couldn't really answer that. Not that it was a question, but it starts to get agitating when it's like, when I try to do certain things always happen, right? This pattern. When I try to take care of myself, right? When I try to wash my face, when I try to shave or brush my teeth, then that's when all the distractions start. And this guy, he's just a professional at showing up like every time I brush my teeth. And it's like, dude, how do you expect me? You think I'm this desperate for companionship or what? Like to talk to you? That I'm going to play along with your bullshit? Remember, I'm not getting paid for this. You are. All right? You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. All right? I would never even give you the time of day in any other circumstance, okay? So you should be happy at least that I'm blowing you off. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be talking to you, right? But yeah, it's like, it's just so insulting. It's that much more agitating that they're this insulting about it too. Like, well, we got you cornered anyway, right? You're stuck in our little game now. What are you gonna do? It's just like the lady a few days ago when I parked at some random strip mall because it was just, I don't know, I was just fed up with being chased around at that point. I couldn't find like anywhere else to park. I was in the middle of nowhere. But I'm in this strip mall that there's not even any stores in. It's totally closed. I don't know if it went out of business or if they're still building it. And good luck finding businesses nowadays to go in there, right? But it was the same thing. Like that morning, okay, I don't know, it was like 7:30 in the morning or something. I forget what, but I just had my cat's litter box next to my car because he somehow always gets litter all over my car, and it's so hard. It gets into everything, so I was trying to keep it outside. But as soon as I pop out of my car, all right, here comes this lady. Where's my other phone? So I can show you how stupid this looks, right? As soon as I pop out of my car that morning, here comes this lady, like the lady I mentioned before, but I think I deleted it live or privated it, with like half her face like doesn't work, kinda. But I can't see that until later on, until the second conversation. But okay, as soon as I pop out of my car, I'm not looking over in her direction, but I just hear, "Good morning!" And she's like walking at me like this, like with her phone like fucking pointed like a robot, like pointed very unnaturally. The way she's holding her phone and just like all the other police informants are told, they're either told to stare at their phone, stare down at your phone like so you don't exist, right? Until they can get behind you and then do some dumbass shit behind you, right? That's what it's all about. Or they will, they're walking like this, like, acting like they are recording you or whatever. And, she's holding her phone like that. And she's just like, is that box yours? The box? And I don't know what she's talking about at first. Like, what? Like, why are you even talking to me anyway? But, So I don't know what she's talking about, but my cat is outside. I just let my cat out to use the bathroom. And I pick up my cat, and then she's like, oh. And then she just turns around and goes back into this plaza. But then, okay, check this out. That was just so odd, right? Oh yeah, she syncs up with me like perfectly, right? As soon as I get in my car, like she's just waiting somewhere, you know, for that alert to go, 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 move, move. You know, he's coming out, move, move. That's what it's like, how these people spring up on you. And then she's of course wearing red and black, you know, which I wouldn't look into before, but now that I know about all this stupid CIA color synchronization, trauma-based mind control, psychological warfare bullshit that they're doing to the civilians now that I'm aware of all this, now I notice these things. I know, oh, okay, and she's wearing red and black. That's their favorite little color combination too, right? It's either they put these people in flashy colors that you wouldn't normally see, or it's the same flashy colors over and over again, like how they keep shoving neon green in my face for some reason. I have no clue why. Yeah, so or you know, it's either like the red and the black, okay? I don't know why. I don't know. I'm sure it's some kind of symbolism. Just like the white and the black, you know, the Masonic as above, so below crap. Or duality. It represents duality, right? The black and white checkerboard and all that. But we know how sick those people are, right? So I noticed that you know, she's wearing the favorite police informant colors. So it's all, there's too many there's too many patterns in me meeting her, or what's the word the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean anyway, right? She comes out as soon as I get out of the car. She's wearing the colors. Right? And I parked extra far away from the rear of these strip malls, kind of. Like if you were a business owner, you would not be parking next to me, all right? That made zero sense too. It's a dark blue compact car with all blacked out windows. So okay, lady Ann, you're driving a car with all blacked out windows. Give me a break. Give me a break, right? I wasn't born yesterday, okay? That's what pisses me off. These people treat you like you're born yesterday. And then they treat you like you should be thankful that they're even talking to you, right? Get the fuck out of here. So a few hours later, because I'm like, whatever, you know, they could, if they want to tell me to go, somebody can knock on my car and tell me to leave, right? Like what happens in normal society, right? None of this playing game shit. Just sneaking up behind my back when I jump out of my car or whatever, like they always try to do. But that's what happens. A few hours later, I get out of my car, and immediately, again, as soon as I got my car, it's like somebody got an alert. And now there's two people. They're both coming at me, or not. It's her, right? And then this dude. It's, oh, sir, excuse me, sir. Oh, hey, what a coincidence, right? You just happened to be running up on me when I got in my car again. Whatever. Can we talk to you? Or no, she said, well, how long you plan on staying here? How long do you plan on staying here? Is this going to be permanent? Is this going to be permanent? Right? She's asking me if I'm going to live in her parking lot permanently now. Well, I don't know. You know, I'm in a car. I just drove here 12 hours ago, right? I wasn't really planning on this becoming my permanent residence. But I'm going to play somewhat along, okay? Well, if you're talking like that, okay, well, no, I wasn't planning on it being my permanent residence, ma'am. You know, my car moves, so I was going to move along. Why, do you need help with something, or what? Is there some reason you're implying that you want to keep me around, maybe? Oh, no. She said, no, I don't need help with anything. I mean, I didn't say all that to her, but I'm just, playing their little stupid game here. And I'm always trying to be nice for some reason. I have no idea why. I have no idea why I even offer these people help. Ugh, I gotta get out of the habit of doing that. But so this guy all of a sudden he starts talking about how he can help me, right? How he finds housing for people, right? And he can find me housing. And I told him, I forget how work came up, but I'm like, well, so you said something like, oh, I could find you housing, and you wouldn't even have to work, or you don't even have to have a job. I'm like, well, it's not that I don't want to work. I said, because I'm really watching my words here. I'm like, it's more the career I'm used to and the salary I'm used to making is difficult to find right now, or I said it's difficult to accept certain work positions when I'm accustomed to working a certain job for over 20 years, making a certain salary, being treated a certain way at my job, right? And he said like, oh, I could find you. We just have to do an evaluation on you, and I could probably have a house and maybe even a car. He said we even find you transportation. I don't even know why he said that, because I'm in a car, right? I'm driving, so I don't know why I would even need a free car anyway, right? I don't know, but I just thought that was strange. I wouldn't even have to work either, right? I just have to go do an evaluation. Would I even come back from that evaluation at this point? I don't know. It's either too good. It's either one way or another. It's too good to be true, right? You're going to give me free housing and a free car. I mean, that's what he was kind of alluding to, right? I don't know. But I know one way or another, it's going to require something of me that I probably don't want to do, right? So I'm just not going to even call him. But I just thought that was strange. But it was just more of the same bullshit, okay? Which tells me that, of course, everywhere I go, these police informants are always waiting and involved with me somehow. They always have to make sure they do these stupid ass sneaking up on you, never gonna act normal. It's just like the Truman Show. They act just like when Truman started catching on, right? When he started realizing something wasn't quite right, and his wife is talking to him, and then she's like holding up products, like she's talking to somebody else, kinda. And he started to like realize it, and that's how everybody talks to me in this program. That's all these police informants are told to treat me, and the way they talk, it's just like Truman's wife, how she's like talking to the audience, doing an advertisement. It's kind of like these people are talking to, like, their boss can hear everything they're saying, right? Like their boss over at the Federal Fusion Center, who's coordinating all of this. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that there's a government program green-lighted that's allowed to treat civilians like this. Normal, regular civilians, right? Who supposedly aren't under investigation. That's right. It's like just bullshit. Opposite surveillance, right? We're gonna annoy the shit out of you into committing a crime. We're not gonna sneak around behind your back to see if you're a criminal committing crimes. No, we're going to make it a point to mob you everywhere you go, to push you over the edge into snapping on one of us, right? Well, what the fuck? How is that allowed to continue in America, right? How is a program like that allowed to exist unless it's more of social engineering and destabilization, right? Like I keep saying, but that's just a whole nother thing, right? It just boggles my mind. Like today, when I'm driving past this hotel and I decided to just do a U-turn, right? And there was no cars behind me 2 seconds ago. And then boom, there's three foreigners, all like these Indian foreigners, all behind me. And it was the same thing with dude in the green shirt that was waiting in the minivan behind the grocery store. He was some European, like Polish or something. Um, they're all like, not all, but like, God, like what? At least 80% foreigners, right? And then you got all the old seniors, right? Which are conveniently what? Like Army veterans. And I bet you that a good majority of these people are retired. They keep shining lights into my car. Whenever I do lives and shit, they're always trying to do something to distract me. Like where I'm at, how can you even get a light in my car right now, right? And I know you can't see in my car. Nobody can see inside my car or what I'm doing right now. So you have to know that I'm in my car already to be trying to screw with me outside, you know? It's not somebody just walking around shining. Like my car does not look suspicious from the outside. But yeah, it's like it's all these foreigners or these older retired people who I have a feeling had some kind of government involvement. They're either retired veterans or these probably are, retired federal agents, retired CIA and all that. And now they just fit the role for this program perfectly, right? What else happened? Do you want to do these lives and at least try to go over the shit they're doing to me? So otherwise I'm just gonna forget too. There's so much shit happens and it's so stressful, and they've damaged me already so much that it's so hard to keep track of everything. And then after so much time passes, then it's even harder for me to try to articulate what everything that happened and do it in a try to keep it in order, try to keep the timeline accurate, I should say. But man, it makes sense for the amount of people following me, right? Or the amount of undercover federal informants, undercover police informants that they have following me around. Like I said, it's like 300, 500. It's crazy. But that makes sense when you consider what they have to achieve everywhere they go, right? They got to have all these people all out and about in the community like it was already like this before I even get there, That's why there's always like a flood of cars going each way around me. Like this inordinate amount of traffic, right? It's like this huge operation that they're setting up. They have to set up a false reality around me everywhere I go. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it blows my mind that I got stuck in this program. Like how could this happen to regular civilians, and how could this happen to me, right? Well, getting around me being a quiet person, right? That's what it is. And they know they can get away with it. If I had a bunch of friends, if I just still talk to all my friends, right? You have a big social circle, they can't run this game on you, or this program. It feels like a game when you're in it. But this federal program, right? So they have all these police informants, all these undercover federal agents going each way everywhere I go, right, ahead of me and behind me, so they can set up all this crap to make it this unbelievable. That's how it's believable, by having this many people at the ready available for this program. That's how they make the unbelievable happen like this around me all the time. And you know, I had to make those lives. Bro, why are you shining lights in my car, dude? I had to make those lives private because it's just a bad look. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get on here. I do want to get on here bitching and angry because I know these people watch it. I know certain people are hearing what I want them to hear, right? But then it just makes this whole bad look for the whole thing, right? Like, it makes me look unhinged or whatever. But I guarantee you, like, whenever this finally does get out, this program, whenever it is finally exposed, then people will understand, because nobody could deal with this normally. Most people would just totally crash out, snap out, and they do, right? That's why all these bad things are happening in society, because this program's getting bigger and bigger. But, you know, for me to just get on here complaining and cussing a little bit ain't really shit for what I'm dealing with, for the amount of harassment from these police informants who are allowed to do it. That's the thing too, is I can't call the police on this program, right? It's the government, it's the feds, everything, right? So I'm stuck. You know, most people, that would just freak people out. You know, most, what do you see on TV? Like, people want these, like, they want their little quiet space or their safe space. People don't want to deal with anything nowadays, and everybody's so fragile, right? And imagine having to go through this program. That's what, this would just straight up break people, and that's probably what they thought it would do to me, right? But you know what, too? Now I just remembered this. That guy, when he's talking to me, telling me how great my life could be, right? I told him, I said, where would I live? Because I don't want to live in the city. I said, I don't want to live near big cities or whatever because of the crime rate. I said, you know, in these housing programs especially, right? Those are probably in high crime areas. And I said, so, you know, I would want to avoid the city, you know, because of the crime rate and things like that. And now throughout, excuse me, I like the hiccups. Throughout his reply now, he says, he all of a sudden says, oh, you wouldn't have to worry about the government. And I'm like, what? I'm trying to think, like, where did that come from? Because I'm like, I know I didn't say anything to him about the government. It's stupid, right? So he already, like, that tells me too, they're already in on it, you know, which I knew already. But why is he, and then is he trying to bait me in? Because I knew they were probably, you know, trying to see if I'm going to say, like, oh, you know, there's people following me and I can't work and I don't know where to go or what to do, right? I'm sure they were probably trying to see if I'm going to say something like that, right? But yeah, look at this shit. I just said, oh, you know, I'm not seeing eye to eye with my father, and I'm having trouble finding a job right now, and I'm just traveling through, you know, I'm just traveling through right now. You ain't getting me caught up in saying any of that shit about being followed or no way. I'll play your game just as, I'll try to play it just as good as not the, you know, people out here playing it, but the people who are behind the scenes coordinating it, right? That's the idea, to one up them, right? I got some semi, like, fucking driving back and forth. He must be the one going from parking lot to parking lot, going at different angles, trying to shine his lights in my windows. And now since I won't shut up and it's not distracting me enough, right? And now he's like zipping back and forth behind me. Man, there's something else I noticed too that is very strange. Okay, with these police informants, they're always staked out around me. They always got to have so many of these police informants nearby. I think there's a radius around me, and there's like a population density of police informants that increases the closer to me you get, right? But man, if I try to watch one of my videos, like a video I make, why all this crazy shit starts happening? If they start fucking making noise outside my car, they'll start coming around my car. Like there'll be no informants like right near my car or whatever, at the moment. And then I want to check out, maybe, usually I don't watch my videos, but if I do, right, and this is the reason why I don't watch them, because like every time then they start coming near my car making noises and shit. And I don't know if they're trying to record me on my videos complaining about them, and then they're probably gonna say, look, he's talking about us right now, right? I bet you that's what they would do. If I'm watching one of my videos, they're going to use my voice to say, oh, look, see, he's talking about us, or what's, who knows, right? Who knows? But it's totally obvious too now with that Sora 2 AI. Look, you could take anybody's face, put them on anybody's body, and make them do anything, right? That's what I've been saying the whole time. That's how they're, or one of the ways, probably the main way, that they are doing these smear campaigns on us, these character assassinations, to, get the communities to go along with it. Because there's so many of these police informants that are following me around. They don't even really have to get the community involved. They just have to get the community to stay out of the way, right? Like, oh, we got this guy coming. Look at this video of him, right? Look what he did. Just stay over here. Let us do, for the next hour or whatever. I don't know how they do it, but they make sure that it's only these crazy-ass police informants that I'm interacting with to keep up this, false reality illusion. They're trying to keep me in this stupid MK Ultra fish bubble, like, just to trying to break my reality, really. Break my mental state of what I think, how everything's supposed to be. Like how people are supposed to be, right? Like I didn't just spend 41 years of my life, living a certain way, being successful, and working, right, and being socially interactive with people, right? Like they just flip a switch and everything changes overnight, or that's what they did to me, pretty much. So you're not gonna pull the wool over my eyes. I know this is total bullshit. And then once I really started to learn about the history of the CIA and these operations they run on civilians, it makes perfect sense now, what they're doing to me. Like, oh, what is this asshole fucking park over here? Now he's gonna probably walk he's probably got a dog in his truck, right? Wouldn't that be so convenient? Like, you see these semi-truck drivers get out and walk their dogs, right? Oh, God. And, how many of these federal agents, that's one of their favorite tactics is the dog walker. Anything to blend in with the community. That's what it's all about. Blending in with the community, right? So I look crazy. Like, yeah, you blend in with the community. You have fucking 50 dog walkers follow me everywhere I go, right? Everywhere I go, there's dog walkers everywhere. There's just the same idiot police informant tactic tropes over and over and over again, right? It's like I'm stuck in Groundhog Day, dude. That's what they really do to you. It's all about mentally breaking you, right? Turning you into a human drone for the CIA. Or, getting me to get rid of myself, too. I'm sure that's part of it, too, right? Either I snap out and do something horrible, or I get rid of myself. Or I get rid of one of these, you know, streetwalker types that they put after me, these, the lower level criminal police informants, right? That's exactly what they want anyway. It's a win-win for the government either way. Either way. You know, I make more crime, or I'm gone, and one of these criminal informants is gone too. It's a win-win-win for the government. And everybody gets paid along the way. Everybody makes, millions get invested along the way. Millions. What do you think it costs to freaking keep an operation like this going? That's why they choose people like me too, so they can kind of run the program for a while and don't really have a high risk of getting caught, right? They can discredit me. They know I don't talk to my family. Even before I stopped talking to my mother and father, those were the only people I ever talked to, right? Those are the only family. My mother, father, and my grandmother. The only people I talk to in my family. It's it. And I don't talk to any friends. Nobody. I don't talk to anybody. Nobody. That's why my neighbor was so. That's why my neighbor said, in that damn voice, like, "Whoa, you don't talk to nobody, do you?" Or I don't know how the fuck. It sounds like a drunk, right? Like a drunk. I know I sound like a pothead, so I don't have that too much room to talk. But I'm not working for this program, right? So I guess I got a whole lot of room to talk, huh? But yeah, that's what I'm saying. How they can get away with doing this to me anyway is because I literally don't talk to anybody. Have you ever heard my phone ring on a live or anything, or even me get a text message? No, I don't talk to anybody. That's why I'm on here now, because now everybody's gonna know, right? If I can't tell anybody in my life, well, I'm gonna tell everybody on YouTube and try to warn people, right? Try to at least people can learn from my mistakes. Because, man, if I knew what was going on and I could have played along from the beginning, I probably could have got the money from that house one way or another, right? But, when you try to explain this to your father, right? Or not even, I didn't even get a chance to explain this to my father, and you won't even hear me out, and you're being like, nonstop harassment by police informers. There's just so much going on, like military torture. You start to build up some resentment, right? And now it's not even about the money. It's not even about the money anymore. The only thing about the money is that maybe will get people to click in their heads, like, yeah, I was supposed to get all this inheritance. I was going to be set. And I had a free house. Maybe that's why they used these military weapons on my house. Because how else are they going to get me out of the house, right? I could rent out a room. I would never have to work, right? If I didn't want to. Work was optional for me, right? Because I would be able to rent out a room. And I wouldn't even have to leave the house. I mean, granted now I could get I did get harassed by that girl I was renting out a room to, so yeah, they could still harass me like that. But the only way they could really get me into this type of situation now is by using pretty intense military weapons on by the government, using these military weapons on me to just cook me out of the house. That's what they did. This is way more than like body vibrations. You know, this was like straight up radiation. Trust me. Fucking straight up radiation. They were just pumping into my house, you know. And then the whole time, like I said, the whole time, I'm trying to figure out, like, this is just like my house becomes a living hell. And then the neighbors, you could hear them laughing and joking outside about it the whole time. Or purposely, like when I'd go to the front, when it was like really bad in the back of my house, like in the back bedroom, I'd go try to like sit in the front room, right? And, you know, they'd fucking pull their car right in front of my house, you know, blast their music. And, you know, I can't figure out where these weapons are coming from, but it seems very clear that they know a whole lot more about this situation than I do, but they're not telling me shit, right? And they're always coming out at the same time I come out. It seems like they're always in parallel with me somehow on the property, right? Like when I go, like the garage is in the backyard, right? It's not an attached garage. So that when I go out to the garage, all of a sudden they're outside going to the garage too, right? Or when I go into my garage, now they're in their backyard right next to my garage, making noise, banging shit around, like, and it's just like they're just running in parallel with me the whole time. Or they always have a few members of the family available, right, to do that, to work for this program, right? Because yeah, it's just too ironic. All right, like I said, right, everything in my life was totally normal, and then those same cars that I see parked outside their house coming and going for the past 10 years, you know, ever since they moved in, now they're following me all over town. And it just gets worse and worse from there. Worse. It just gets progressively worse and worse. You know, the strange occurrences happening to me, right? Which are done, you know, by undercover police informants, which I had no clue at the time, right? Who is supposed to know that the police give criminals authority to do this to civilians, right? In this program. How are you supposed to figure that out? I'm trying to think what else happened here past few days. But yeah, it's like, you really think I was gonna stay at that storage place, man? Hell no. Hell no. That was too weird from the get-go. And that dude's trying, you know, that dude's telling me to stay. Like from the the guy, I mean, I gave him a chance in the beginning. I tried to help him with his car. I did, but you know, you start doing certain police informant tactics, right? Blatantly to my face, I'm not going to give you chances anymore, right? It's over. Like, understand, you know, what this program stole from me, and so why I'm not going to give you a chance, right? I'm not gonna play in any of your reindeer games, right? Give me back what's mine. So that's why I don't know why they would expect. You know, they really think like I'm that desperate or something. I would never be that desperate. It just seems too bizarre. Trying to get me in a van the whole time, right? Like always trying to. Oh man, just not getting in a shitty white van with those kind of strangers, man. There's no way. I can already see where this is going. The way these people try to the way these police informants try to set you up in this program. These undercover informants. Hell no. Then they get away with this shit. They get away with it, right? There's nobody I can. It's like I can't call the police. They're gonna do whatever they can to try to fucking discredit my story or whatever. Or they have all the eyewitnesses in the world to say like, "Oh nope, that isn't how it happened. Nope, nope." Where's my water? I gotta grab water. It's so funny how these undercover agents all come around, right? Whenever you try to go live or do anything, no matter what time it is. I think a spider bit my face or something. I got this huge bump. I don't know what it is. It's getting smaller at least. Yeah, that was weird too when at least here too. I'm not getting shit dumped on me right now at least, but man, it really seemed like too over at that storage there was just always like this dust, this fine, like this flaky dust, and then like this fine powder dust, always in the air, just getting all over everything, you know. Plus, like that, like my phone would always get all oily too. Yeah, just crazy. Yeah, that's where I first started noticing. That's where I first started noticing like just a buildup of shit on my car, like never before. A buildup of strange material from the atmosphere that I can't explain where it's coming from. But you know, then when I just went a few towns over, that's when all of a sudden it got really bad. And you know, then it seemed like they were dumping like straight asbestos on me or something that would, you know, was scratching my phone. It was even scratching my phone screens. Everything scratches everything, and it sticks. The oil makes it stick to everything, but it makes me all itchy too. Like I could feel it on the back of my neck, like on my elbows. You know, it just feels like you're covered in fiberglass. And you know how bad that shit is to breathe in. It gives you lung disease and all that. So I don't know. You know, it could be they're trying to make me look all itchy and stupid, right? Like scratching all over, trying to make me look like an idiot to the public. You know, trying to make me sick to get rid of me. It could be a whole number of different things. I want to say like that powder they're dumping on me could be like, it could be just nothing. It could be powder just to make me look stupid. But I would, in this program, I wouldn't think so. It's probably something bad, you know, with the things that the government has access to and the technologies they have access to. It's probably, you know, it probably is something bad. I keep getting all these ads too about erectile dysfunction and your hair falling out. I have no idea why I'm getting these ads, because I don't watch pornography or anything like that, right? I don't look up things about erectile dysfunction. As far as I know, I don't have erectile dysfunction. But with me getting those ads and then these constant ads about your hair falling out, right? About hair transplants and all this stuff. Now I'm wondering if they're trying to tell me something, if it's more of the stupid subliminal bullshit messaging they do, like, oh, is all this shit they're dumping on me from above gonna make me like impotent and bald? Is that the idea here? Make all my hair fall out, right? That's why I started wearing a hat, actually, too. I'm like thinking, oh, maybe I should try to keep this shit out of my hair. And if you're dealing with this harassment, if you wear a baseball cap with that bill in front of you, that blocks out a lot of your vision. That comes in handy kind of when you got people dancing around in front of you, acting like a fool or whatever. If you're trying to block out a lot of crap, or block out some of your vision so people, just don't have full access to everything you see and hear, right? A baseball cap helps out a lot. And I've noticed too, like earplugs, I forgot, in the beginning of this program, because of my job, I used to wear earplugs or hearing protection a lot too. And when I started noticing people like being loud and obnoxious around me all the time, if I couldn't wear like headphones, like earbuds, then I'd wear hearing protection. And then like when my ears started ringing, I started wearing the hearing protection to see if that would help at all, which it didn't really. But sometimes it did. Like I've noticed for these weapons, whatever they use where you feel like these pressure waves hitting you, if you wear hearing protection, like those earplugs that go in your ears, they form a seal. I guess they kind of pressurize your ears. They do help. But see, I've noticed too, I remember this used to happen to me a lot too, is that would help from like one weapon they were using on me, having the earplugs in, but then they'd start using some other weapon on me to where it almost seemed like it would build up pressure inside my head. And I'd start getting this different pain, and it wouldn't go away until I took the earplugs out. So, I mean, I went through this whole cycle to where, like, I'd put the earplugs in to, and that would really help, too. When you got people banging shit around you all the time, that helps a lot. And then if you get, like, a stocking cap, right? Like, you put the earplugs in and put your hat over it, and people can't even see you got the earplugs in. Or you could even wear, like, earbuds that way, too. But you could get earplugs for like $2 and wear them anywhere. So like at work or something, when people are like trying to like bang dishes and shit like that, that'd make a huge difference. Because I used to wear them all the time at work, just from like cutting metal and shit like that is so loud that it would be annoying and give me a headache. By the end of the day, just the air tools using them all day is so loud. So if I couldn't wear headphones or earbuds, then I'd wear earplugs. And that really, when you got to go through the street theater noise harassment shit, that really helps. And two, like with the earplugs, you could still somewhat hear what's going on around you. You're not totally deaf, dumb, and blind, so to speak, right? But if somebody like drops a fucking pallet of glass windows right next to you, right, makes this huge noise, you're not going to jump up because it's so loud. You'll hear it, but it's not going to be excruciatingly loud. The earplugs will definitely help. Anything that helps you is going to piss off these informants. More, they're going to try to figure out a way to make it worse, I know, but trust me, now that I remember that, now I'm starting to wear earplugs. If I could like cover it up with a hat or something, just so I don't look like too silly or, something else, they could point at me and be like, oh, what's, look, he is weird. See, he's wearing earplugs for no reason. Ha ha ha. Because they just any little thing that these police informants try to single you out for or whatever. So, if I can wear a hat over them, and then it's even more funny because they don't know you got earplugs in, and all the stupid shit they're doing really ain't having the effect on you like you think. You can kind of barely hear it or whatever. Just trust me, it makes a big difference. Wear earplugs if you can. And if they don't know about it, it's even funnier then. And I know like the program knows everything we do and all that, but not every single person, on the street knows everything. I don't think they don't keep it like that because that way, they want to keep the harassment fresh for these people too, so they don't tell them. They don't tell them. I don't think they even tell them like that we know what's going on, right? Because then they won't be so confident. Like, oh, he knows, he's gonna give you a hard time, and he knows everything about all the ins and outs about the program. They're not gonna tell the people out on the street, the police informants out on the street harassing me, that I have knowledge of this, right? Because then they're gonna approach me differently, right? They're gonna tell these police informants out on the street that I'm a complete idiot and that I will fall for anything, right? I'm gonna fall for anything, and this is gonna be just the sweetest, easiest gig for you. Just go fuck with them, right? That way they have the utmost confidence coming up to me, right? Approaching me. That's why these people always approach us with this like indifference and confidence, is that they have no clue about anything, like about how we view them. That would ruin it for them. It would ruin it kind of for the program, right? So I think they keep these informants on the street in the dark as much as they can, right? As much as they can, because granted, a lot of them. I mean, there's tons of informants that get on our accounts all the time, but I mean, that could very well be, a bot farm. Like you see these phone farms, there's just a whole wall of cell phones replying to messages and stuff. They could just stick a bunch of AI bots on us with, programmed comments to certain things we say. They could have just a boardroom that is waiting around for whenever a target makes a video or goes live, then they all focus on that specific target, right? And I'm sure there's enough targets throughout the country making content online to keep a whole office full of police agents, federal agents busy, right, doing this. And why wouldn't they? I mean, if they're going to put 500, 1,000 people out on the street on me, right, whenever I go somewhere, then what's 100 people sitting in an office somewhere typing on a computer too, who could also focus their resources on other targets when they're not, trying to harass me when I'm live. Or that's why I can't have comments, because it's just going to make me look like that much more of an asshole, right? The big part of this program is making me look like an asshole. So even if I'm trying to be the most nicest guy in my live stream and trying to be as upbeat as I can, when I'm getting ridiculously stupid comments every 5 seconds, asking me ridiculously stupid questions, having ridiculously stupid screen names with ridiculously stupid profiles, eventually I'm going to get agitated. Eventually it's going to turn me into the person that I'm not trying to be, But when you have a program, a police program, a federal program, a government program allowed to follow me around and torture me 24 hours a day, you know, when I it's trying to make me be a certain way 24 hours a day, trying to anger me into acting a certain way 24 hours a day. It's kind of hard not to start acting like that, right? It's real hard not to turn into the biggest, angriest jerk on the planet. And sometimes I really want to be like that. Like, I just want to take anything I can about one of these informants and say it against them. When I'm really not that petty. I don't, normally make fun of people for their weight or how they look or anything like that. But if you're going to come down on my life 24 hours a day and treat it like a joke, well, then I want to treat your life like a joke in that brief minute of interaction I'm going to have with you. I'm going to just take whatever I can and use it against you, just like you're doing to me, right? Using anything you can against me, right? But unfortunately, people don't see that side of they don't get to see that perspective, right? They only get to see me on here pissed off, all right? And that's how they get to form this whole narrative against us, right? And turn us into looking like this jerk online who nobody is going to want to be around or help anyway, right? We're just going to look like the angry, antisocial person who deserves to be in this situation. That's what they wanted. They want it to look like. They want it to look like we are, or the federal target is the angry, antisocial person who put themselves in this situation, which couldn't be any further from the truth. I was the most happiest, go-luckiest person, most carefree person in the very most easiest situation I could have been in, right? But they took my life and just turned it upside down and slammed me on my head. And here I am, right? Just left here trying to pick up the pieces and use them against them now. Okay, what time? I think it's too late now. I've been on here an hour. Yeah, 4 a.m. I don't think I should be. I think I gotta quiet down now because people are gonna probably start coming outside and walking their dogs and whatnot. So I think I've said everything I need to say for today. So I'll try to come back later on, tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Thanks for watching. Bye.